quick heads up before the show starts. We would love to meet you at 2 upcoming events. Bring a dish and a swimsuit for the Colorado World Schoolers Brunch Picnic on August 15th, or join the World School Pop-Up Hub in Osaka, Japan from October 11th to the 17th. Info and RSVP links are in the show notes. Raise your hand if the accommodation part of long-term travel has caused you any headaches in the past. If both of your hands are in the air, you're going to delight in this conversation with Joe O'Connor, a full-time traveling dad and the co-founder of Global Family Home Rentals. We dive into his family's recent 10-month stay on the magical Greek island of Syros to include a local micro school and the actual $5,000 a month spending snapshot to show you exactly how a family of 3, with one on the way, budgets for rent, education, and incredible food abroad. If you're a homeowner who wants to travel, or if you're looking for trusted, vetted, and affordable spaces for your family to land, Joe's new platform is a total game changer. I am so excited for the world schooling community to discover the opportunities within Global Family Home Rentals. Don't miss Joe's brilliant advice on why decision fatigue means you should occasionally stop over planning and just let a great house choose your next destination for you. Welcome to the Wander World School Podcast. I'm Susie, a travel-loving money nerd, mom of 2, and our family lives between Spain, Colorado, and soon Japan. On this show, we discuss the stories, logistics, and finances of traveling families and the many ways to learn and travel along the way. Today, we get to know Joe O'Connor. Welcome to the show. Please tell me more about you and your family.
Hi, Susie. Thanks so much for having me. A bit about my family. I'm Joe. It's myself and my partner, Linz. We have a 7-year-old daughter and also a son on the way due in August, which we're really excited about. We are currently in New York, where we're from. We just spent 8 months living on the island of Syros in Greece, and we've been traveling full-time now for over 4 years.
Well, I'm really excited to talk more about your family travels, and also you have the company that you co-founded, the Global Family Home Rentals, specifically for traveling families in mind, which is a great resource for families that are looking for affordable accommodation around the world. I always like to go back and understand a little more about you and where your love for travel started.
In 2014, I had the opportunity to travel to Sydney, Australia. It was actually through Linz's company that she runs. It's called Team Glees. It's an international sports agency. And for me, this was actually the first time that I ever traveled abroad, lived internationally, and it was an incredible experience. It completely changed my life and really just opened up my mind, my heart, my eyes to the world in a whole new way. And that's where I definitely got bit by the travel bug. And Lynn's actually lived in the UK in her 20s and traveled a ton. So for us, we always said, if and when we had a family, when that time came, we would always want to continue that travel lifestyle together.
And I want to give a shout out to the Australian listeners because I went there a long time ago. Beautiful country, but
Amazing.
Also I recognize why when people leave Australia to travel, they travel for an extended period of time because it's quite remote. And so if you're going to leave, you're not doing it for a short vacation. You're going to up and go and take a year off. I feel like there's Australians all over the world because they also have a strong love of travel too. So it's a great place. I'd love to get back and spend more time there with the kids too. But you mentioned you've been full-time traveling for the last couple of years. What does that look like?
We've been traveling full-time for over 4 years now. To back it up a little bit, this was definitely always our family's travel dream. We wanted to get out there. We wanted to live this lifestyle. And at the beginning, though, we had a lot of question marks on how do we actually go make that happen? This dream definitely did not come to life just overnight. I literally remember being at home, watching family travel vlogs on the TV and thinking to myself, man, how do we go do this? How can we live this lifestyle? How are they doing it? How can we make it happen? And was really just yearning to get out there as a family and live in that way. And I think a lot of our question marks originally were around school. Where are we going to go? When? How can we get our daughter into something? In the fall of 21, this is when we actually learned about Boundless Life for the first time. And that changed literally everything for us. We very quickly joined. We were really stoked about it. And it was in January of 2022 where we actually then took our leap to start traveling full time. We did the whole move out, sell our cars, put stuff in storage, which is just one way to go out and do it. That just worked best for us at that time. And yeah, we've been traveling now for the past 4+ years, and it's been just absolutely incredible.
You said you were one of the early founders with Boundless. Does that mean you were at Sintra?
We were one of the first families to join. We were at that first cohort, and we actually did the first 3 cohorts in Sintra at that time.
So you had a chance to be part of the process of maybe some feedback, how to improve. Spoke with Elodie recently, and it sounds like they really do rely on the traveling family community to decide where to go next, how to improve cohorts. So I love that there is that family involvement as well. You mentioned you're in New York now. Baby number 2 is on the way. What does travel look like coming up for you?
Yeah, so we just landed in New York, baby number 2 on the way in August, and we want to be around our families for the birth and for some time after. So we could be here for the next year. It could be a little less. It could be a little more. We're just really stoked about this next chapter, though, because we have been traveling full time, location independent, on the go, like I said, for over 4 years now. So we're excited for just this new season of life together. And then really looking forward to as well when the time comes to get out as a family of 4 and continue to travel. I think what'll change will probably slow down even more and live even slower, really experience it more together as a family, be more present. And this time we're just going to have bottles and diapers and all the baby things in tow, which is just really fun to think about right now as we look forward into that.
Absolutely. The cool thing about having a location independent life is that you can decide when the best time is to take the next trip. You have some flexibility there. And also, after you have traveled for some time, it is nice to be grounded for a while. But just because you're in one place for an extended period of time doesn't mean that you can't pick up and go at some point in the future. And we also know that travel changes with kids. Like there's a very different mindset to traveling with a baby than a toddler than teens even. So it's fun to adapt travel to the ages and stages of our kids and our families. You mentioned that you have done a lot of the Boundless cohorts. I'm curious a little more about what education has looked like for your daughter, what her experiences have been with Boundless, or any other opportunities that you've been able to incorporate along your travels.
When we had started traveling, we were doing probably 6 to 9 months abroad with Boundless for at least a couple of years. So Boundless Education, their program, was our daughter's main setup and educational program during that time, and it was great. We then were living in Greece, and we decided to enroll her in a local micro school. It was actually taught and run by one of our really close friends, and that has been her experience. It was her experience for the past 8 months or so.
The most recent Syros component of your journey was actually in the micro school and not at the cohort there. But I've heard that island is very magical. And so how cool to have a variety of opportunities for the schooling and the community on a beautiful Greek island, of course. Like you mentioned, when you were just starting out, you were like, how do families travel? How do they financially and logistically make this work? What has that been for you all in terms of work, money, resources, logistics for your travels already, and then also moving forward?
Not only was our family one of the first to join Boundless as a customer in the early days, Linz and I were actually both really early employees at the company too. We started as a customer and then transitioned into our roles. We were both on the sales team, working on the global team and remotely, and we had the opportunity to work with close to 500 families to really help them take their leap to go live and learn around the world together, which was a really awesome experience. And it was actually from our time in those roles and also our family travels that we then decided to co-found a company called GFHR. It stands for Global Family Home Rentals, and that's what we're currently building now together.
Very cool. We'll talk more about Global Family Home Rentals shortly. Let's talk about the 1 month spending snapshot. So this is for a family that's sitting at home like, okay, how much might I need to save, or what type of income do I need to have in order to fund travel? And of course, we know there are people approaching this from all different price points.
I'll give you a snapshot of a recent month when we were just in Greece. And I would say our average monthly living expenses were probably around 5,000 USD. And this number includes the home we were living in, so our rent and our utilities, our school tuition for our daughter, food, activities, both for our daughter and as a family, and then health insurance. And I think it's important to note that we found our home through a really close friend of ours who lives in Syros full time. And just to break it down though, what that 5,000 looks like. So our home was about 1,500 USD. Again, that was our rent and our utilities. And I think important to note too that it was a 10-month lease. School tuition for our daughter, just one kiddo, was just over 1,000. Our food could be around 2,000 USD, probably a little bit more, to be honest. We love to eat out, especially in Syros, because it's just so incredible, the food there. Activities for our daughter and for us, anywhere from 300 to 400 euros. Health insurance was a little bit over 100. And again, that total is 5,000 USD. Also, too, within that number, so that doesn't include things like shopping, haircuts, stuff like that. And we do have a car here in the States, the payment on that, insurance, and others too. Specifically, though, for a family who's going to go take a trip to Syros, for us, living the way that we were, that was about the monthly total average.
That's so helpful to hear. And what you pointed out is that sometimes the more we travel, we meet people, we make connections, we find people that are renting a place out. And so it's going to be basically at cost. Or again, a longer term lease is going to typically be cheaper over the long term as well. And then you also find really cool opportunities for education or travel through people that we meet along the way. So was there any exposure to Greek at the micro school? I'm curious because Greek does seem very difficult with a whole different alphabet. I'm curious how your daughter took to that.
For sure. So in the micro school, the main language was English. There was, though, French and Greek as a part of the curriculum. So it was really cool to see her be immersed in that. And they recently had their final performance, and they did songs in all three of those languages and actually more, which was just really cool to see all the kiddos up there.
That is so cool. I also was thinking, is Syros an island that is very seasonal? Like you're going to have really high rental prices over the summer months, but then the rest of the year, it's not as touristy. I'm just curious how that works for Syros or Greece in general.
Definitely peak season, which we're starting to get closer into July, August. Prices are much, much higher as anywhere in Europe at that time, for sure. Because we had a close friend and we had lived there for a while, we found this awesome spot that for the 10-month lease, we were able to lock it in at that price, which was awesome for our family. And we have stayed, though, in apartments long-term there that were much more than that. It was actually just a couple doors down where we lived for over a year when we first came to Syros with Boundless. So it was cool to be back in what I'll say is our old neighborhood in a lot of ways.
That's so great to be able to kind of come back to some places that we really love as we travel. I'm really curious more about global family home rentals because housing is, like we just talked about, it's a big part of travel, right? Where are we going to stay? How are we going to find our accommodations? Tell me a little bit more about global family home rentals, how it started, and also what is part of the program.
You nailed it. Home is such a huge part of the experience for families. For GFHR, it stands for Global Family Home Rentals. Really where the whole concept came from was when Lindsay and I were at Boundless, we had the opportunity, which was so cool, to meet and connect with tons of families from around the world, thousands. And a question that we hear all the time was, we want to travel long-term. We want to live this lifestyle as a family, but what do we do with our home while we're away? So families who are homeowners, they didn't want to double pay their rent and mortgage back home and then for their accommodation wherever they were going to travel. And a huge thing too was they didn't want to just rent to any random stranger off of other platforms. And one more thing, if a family's slow traveling or traveling long-term, you're looking 30 plus days or more to then be flipping their home all the time, going through the management and the turnover. On the other side of that, there are also a lot of families who were looking for homes that were trusted, affordable, and family friendly that they could stay in while they were on the go. So while there are tons of home platforms out there where families can go rent a place, we really felt that there wasn't one specifically on the market that really tailored to the specific needs of a slow traveling family. So in 2025, Lindsay and I co-founded GFHR to try and help solve this problem, and we've been building it ever since.
And you bring up some amazing points around housing. And yes, I have talked about how to rent your house out where you travel. And I also talk about those situations that have not been ideal because I like to keep it real here, right? There's challenges and hard parts about it. And not saying that you're not going to have that if you have a traveling family in there, but like I've experienced with home exchange, when there's this platform and there's some vetting there, you said it's a, invite only, you're going to have a very different level of trust between the people staying in your house than you would with just like any old rental property system. So tell me a little more about how it works.
Yeah, to first touch on the point you just said, there's a fear for many families. A lot of the homes that they have, it's their primary residence. This is their family home. So to turn around and just give the keys to anybody, there is a fear there that they're going to trash their homes or something's going to happen and they're not going to let them know. We've recognized and learned just a lot of other fears and problems that families have in this world, which has pushed us even more to want to get GFHR going and to help families in this space. To share a little bit more about what it is, GFHR is an invite-only home rental collection and community specifically designed for traveling families. So homes on the platform, they're listed at cost to cover families' expenses, not to make a profit. We have background checks and ID verification built in. Trust is the highest value that we have. And so many families who joined our waitlist early on and have since joined, trust is the number one reason why they're coming to GFHR and that they want to be a part of it. We're in the midterm rental space, so 30 plus days or more. There's no communication restrictions or transaction fees. And something that we've really put a lot of time and energy to are the home listings on our platform, which are all very, very intentionally designed with families in mind. A couple of features on it that I think are worth sharing for families that are listening and they have a home or they want to stay in trusted homes are that on our listings, we have built out areas that really give host families the opportunity to share about their home and showcase the surrounding areas that they live in. We've really found talking to families that they love to be able to do that. A couple things that you'll see on our listings are one, what are nearby local experiences? So is there a national park around this home? Are there beaches, a children's museum, community essentials? Like what is a host family's favorite grocery store that has all the great stuff? Coffee shops, co-working spaces. We even have a section for learning and childcare. So when a family is choosing to come to this area, potentially live in this home, what are the day camps? What are a family's favorite babysitters? And being able to share the info for them, homeschool groups, international schools, and obviously health and medical and safety is really important too when you're choosing a place to travel. And so on there, you're going to have the name of the local hospital, pediatrician, pharmacy. And again, this is all set up from the host side. And what we've heard from guest families too is that they absolutely love that because it takes so much of the guesswork out of having to plan travel in that way. And what's great about it is that before they even think about connecting with this family or requesting to book, you also can't instant book on our platform. We really want families to build relationships, get to know each other, and then decide if it's a great fit. They have all that information right at their fingertips, so they can actually make the most informed decision for their family and what's going to be best for them as they're planning their travel and they're setting things up.
I've been looking at longer term stays in Japan, and I'm like, sell me not just on your home, but sell me on the location. What can I do? What is within walking distance? And there's not as much there as I would like. Also, maybe you're familiar with Furnished Finder, and that's where we list sometimes in the US, but it's designed for healthcare workers. So it tells you where the closest hospitals are, but that's not necessarily what a traveling family wants to know. And that when you're staying somewhere long term, you're not just spending 2 nights in the city and we'll figure out what to do when we're there. You want to know, like, what is there to do within this location? Because we're committing to a month or more in this location. So it's not just the home, it's the location, it's what's around it. You mentioned that families are homeowners that can participate. Fill me in on what other individuals could be potential participants.
So how the process works is that families are either invited by a current member or they apply for an invitation through our website. meet with Lindsay, and then they need to pass the background check and ID verification to then be able to pay their annual membership and join. We have no restrictions on needing to have a home or list on the platform. Families can actually choose to join as a host, a guest, or both, whatever works best for them. And the reason we say that is because once you pay your membership, you get access to everything. So that's going to give you access to the home collection, the trusted community of families, all of our partnerships and resources that we've set up. Some of them are going to include landlord insurance, guest protection, lease templates. And regardless of your host, a guest, or both, you get access to all of that. And why we ask that up front is because we want the data in-house to know why are families joining, what's their intention. And we've actually learned really early on that close to 80% of families, probably more, are choosing to join as both a host and a guest. So they're bringing that supply and demand for us as what is a two-sided marketplace. And then they have the intention and the desire to want to use it to rent out their home and also go stay in awesome family-friendly homes around the world as well. Something that we've learned too that we just think is really cool in these early days is that if you look at a lot of the platforms that are in the market right now, a lot of times, whether it's a family or not, I know in my mind that in June, I'm going to Ireland and I need to go find a place to stay, which is what brings me to that platform. For GFHR, what we're learning from families is that they're looking at it actually in the opposite way, especially in the long-term or slow traveling family space. They're saying, you know what? We have the ability to travel in June and we have flexibility through August as well. Let's go check out GFHR, see what homes are in the collection and available at that time, and then choose based on the house, the destination we're going to go to. So it's been cool to just have those conversations early on and see that. And as we get close to launching this month, we're really, really excited to see how that unfolds. We just had a booking recently where our friends who are from the States, they're living in Greece, they're a GFHR member and their home is on the platform. They just booked a Finnish family's home in Spain. So how cool, just all of that coming together, 4 different countries, 2 global families, was really awesome to see.
Once you're a member, like you said, you're there, right? And sometimes your housing situation changes. Maybe this is a primary home, but you sell it for a while because you want to travel full time for a while. Or you have a rental somewhere, like we have a long-term rental in Spain. I'm also thinking that sometimes, like if you're traveling and you're in an RV, you might not necessarily at that point of your travels need or want to stay somewhere else, but your home is available. So I love that you've created this opportunity for people to be a part of it in whatever way they're able to, but also you still have this community. And so many families are like, they're flexible. They just want to go have a really cool cultural experience in a new place. And sometimes it really is the right house that makes it a really cool experience, or the right location near really cool things that you didn't even realize you would have found unless you had this cool house as an opportunity. So I love keeping an open mind to serendipity a little bit when you travel, especially long term. Sometimes that decision fatigue comes into place. You're like, I don't know, this house is available. Let's go.
Yeah, we really want to make family travel, this is our mission, this is our intention with GFHR, more accessible, more affordable, and more community driven. Family travel literally over the past 4 years has completely changed our lives. It was what was once a dream at a point, and to now live it. I get goosebumps when I say it and I think about it still, and we've been doing it for so long now. It changed everything for us in so many different ways, from places we've lived, the lifelong friends we've met, the incredible memories we've made, all of these things. And with GFHR, we want to be able to, in one way, provide those same opportunities for other families as well. And we really see GFHR as a resource for families. And on the homeowner side, it's a way to cover those expenses while you're away, and in some cases help fund travel for families. And then on the other side, while families are on the go, they get access to our collection, which are trusted, affordable, family-friendly homes. And we really feel like this can help more families. And we feel like this is really important. Travel with more peace of mind. It already can be hectic. There's lots going on. There's so many different variables that you need to decide on: where you're going to live. What are you doing for schooling? We got to book this flight. We got to be here at a certain time. So if through GFHR, we can bring more accessibility and peace of mind to the family travel space, we feel good about that. And we're really stoked about it too.
And I'm sure my kids are not alone that when they go to a new house that has toys, even if they're like similar to the toys that we have at our house, it's like Christmas.
And all of that information, kids' toys, books, puzzles, car seats, if a host family is setting up their listing and they have those different things accessible, they have the ability to check it and it'll show up on the listing as well. So again, for a family being informed and having all the info they need to make a really awesome decision for their family, those types of details are included on GFHR because we're so family focused on the company as a whole, but definitely with our listings.
You mentioned that you have many founding families already. You have homes all over the world in different countries. Share with me a little more about where those homes are, the locations. So if a family is thinking that they want to join, that they get some insights on what is possible for them.
For sure. So we currently have 50 founding families who've joined pre-launch, and we have close to 40 homes across 9 countries. And we're super stoked to actually be launching, which is so exciting, having been building it now for probably 15 or so months. With the countries that we currently have, we are in Canada, we're across the US, we are in Italy, Greece, Portugal, Finland, Spain, Thailand. So it's been really cool to see early on, especially pre-launch, going global so quickly. And you mentioned earlier Furnish Finders. I would say if you look at the home rental companies out there on a spectrum, on one side, you could have an Airbnb, a VRBO. On the other side, you could have Home Exchange, for example, or people like us. Some of the big differences between those are that on the Airbnb VRBO side, there's a financial exchange between host and guest, where on the other side, it's more of a home swap, home exchange setup. For GFHR, I would say that we're in the middle of that spectrum, similar to where probably a Furnish Finder would stay, especially because we're both in the midterm rental space, 30 plus days. For GFHR, we don't handle any of our payment processing on our platform. That's because we don't have any transaction fees and it's an annual membership. So what that opens up for families is the flexibility to pay and receive money in a way that works best for them. And again, that's included right on the listings too. I think important just to kind of share all that because there are so many options out there where we fall on that spectrum. And also too, because we don't handle the money, there's the opportunity for home swap, reciprocal or non-reciprocal on the platform too, because what we're really providing is the connection of families and the environment that they're connecting in with the resources that back it up. Once they connect, you can stay on our platform and continue to build a relationship and message. You can go to WhatsApp, FaceTime, do a video tour. Again, trust is just so important to us. We want families connecting as soon as possible, building that relationship, and then together finalizing all the details of the stay so it works best for both parties.
And then it gives them the chance to say, this is my home, this is how I want it to work. As long as they're clear in their listing with what that is, then other people can make informed choices if that works for them or not. So it's a way to give homeowners or give traveling families some more of the authority with where they go with this. But anytime you're on Furnish Finder and you have someone reach out, I'm going to be running a background check, professional and personal references. And so this is a little different, is that you're already part of a community. So you've already gone past some of the first steps. So yeah, this is really fascinating to see how you've basically found the gaps and then found something that works for families. I like that.
Yeah, it was fit to us and it was fit to a demographic of who we are and we've lived. And even more importantly, we've connected with so many families around the world, both professionally and personally. where we saw gaps, like you said, or some problems that were on the table that we decided to take the leap and try to solve. For us, it's a very focused and niche market that we're looking to serve. And it's one that we know really well because we've been living it too as a family.
That means you've really identified some of the problems and you have a group of people that you can network with to help figure out these solutions and what people need and want. Part of keeping it real, though, is understanding there's challenges, either the challenges of the business side of things or even the challenges that might come with long-term travel. Also, I like to always talk about the wins, whether that's the family travel wins or the business wins.
I can totally speak to both. Starting with the family side, I think one of the biggest challenges is we've been doing at least 6 to 9 months abroad for the past 4 years at this point. So just missing our people back home, friends and family, and being able to spend that time together. Grateful for technology in that way because we can hop on a FaceTime or WhatsApp and connect. Personally, I've also found that I've struggled with the transient nature of the lifestyle too, especially from building relationships with people who are amazing. I love them. We're aligning on values and we have so much fun together. And then at the same time as that process is unfolding, I know that eventually we're going to have to say bye or a see you later, see you soon. And I definitely have struggled with that over time. I'd say on the business side, less related to travel and more just about building an early stage startup. There's certainly the ups and downs that come with it. And I think the process of navigating that, learning how to ride that wave and not get too attached to what stage we're at. Are we in a peak or in a valley? And just continuing to each day be really intentional and take a step forward. And ultimately, though, it's been awesome building GFHR together. Linz and I have absolutely loved it. And I think on the win side, celebrating just the fact that we have been traveling for 4 years and that was what our dream was. So to actually take the leap and go live it and now experience it in all the ways that we've had has just been so amazing. And ultimately, when I look back to 4, 5, 6 years ago, we decided not to settle and to go for the lifestyle that we wanted to live and felt authentic to us and aligned with our values. And when I think back to that time and to where we are right now, back then I could have never even imagined how it could unfold in this way and what it could look like. So I say that really just to encourage any families who are listening that they haven't taken that leap yet. They've been dreaming about it, whether it's travel or not, to go for the things that you truly want in life and to give them everything you have and to enjoy it and to know that the only way to know how it's going to unfold is by taking that initial leap, which is the hardest step in anything. Man, but by doing so, it really opens up the opportunity to just be absolutely blown away, which I think is really, really cool.
Well, that's really well said. And I'm going to link everything in the show notes. But let's wrap up with the lightning round to get to know you a little bit better. You can only ever visit or live in 3 countries. What are they?
I'm going to go Syros, Greece, because we absolutely love it. It's an incredible place. Number 2 for me is going to be Australia because I have the connection there. We haven't been back as a family altogether, so I'm really excited about that when it's the time to go. And I'm going to say the US, just being in upstate or Western New York around our family and friends.
What is one item that you cannot travel without?
I bought a backpack a couple of years ago in Italy that literally is an extension of my body. I use it for everything. A suitcase, it's a work bag, it's a beach bag when we go together as a family with friends. I even will put a bunch of weight in it, go outside for a long hike or a ruck. So it has so many different uses and I just absolutely love it. I can't imagine not having that bag or one like it.
That's a traveler dream to have the perfect backpack. I have like 3, but they are not perfect all in one. And I'm like, oh, I just need one that would do it all. What is the first thing you do when you arrive somewhere new?
For me, I love to get outside. If there's grass around there, I love to get my feet in it. And then I just take a few minutes to unpack. I'm a pretty simple guy. So again, a lot of my stuff that I'm bringing just fits in my backpack. So I like to get it out to be able to then go use the backpack for other things. Those are 3 things though that I'll do right when we get someplace. So.
And if people want to learn more about you and about the website, where can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, definitely. For families who want to learn more about GFHR, you can head right to our website. It's gfhr.co. If while you're there, you feel like you're interested in joining, you want to learn more, you think it could be a great fit for your family and add value to your family, just submit the application on the site. And then Linz and I are going to reach out to set up a call to connect with your family and get to know you more. And if anybody wants to get in touch, you can find me on LinkedIn. Just search my name, Joe O'Connor, and we can connect there.
Thank you so much for sharing more about your travels as a family. Best of luck in your new adventure coming up soon with baby number 2. I'll make sure to link all this in the show notes so people can check it out.
Thanks so much for having me, Susie. This was awesome.
Sign up for the Wander Weekly newsletter and get curated resources for your family's journey, along with worldschooling news, family spotlights, and community roundups. You'll also get the essential pre-trip checklist specifically for slow traveling families. Sign up, grab your checklist, and I'll see you in your inbox soon.